The UFC, the blood, the glory, the octagon. From the outside, it looks like every fighter's dream: fame, fortune, and that championship belt. But behind the scenes, it's a completely different story. Welcome to the truth about why it actually sucks to be a UFC fighter. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today, we're pulling back the curtain on the dark side of the fight game, the stuff Dana White doesn't want fans talking about. Sure, UFC fighters are warriors. They're skilled, disciplined, and tough as hell. But they also deal with insane pressure, financial struggles, and a system that often works against them. Let's dive into 7 brutal realities UFC fighters face that prove it's not always the dream you think it is. Despite being the top MMA organization in the world, the UFC pays their fighters a fraction of what boxers or athletes in other sports make. The average UFC fighter makes between $10,000 to $80,000 per fight, before taxes and expenses. Only the top few earn 7 figures. Fighters must cover training camps, managers, coaches, travel, and medical costs out of their own pocket, and the UFC keeps most of the revenue. Fighters only receive 15–20% of UFC profits, compared to 50% in most pro sports leagues. The UFC has been criticized for signing fighters to restrictive, long-term contracts. These deals often include non-compete clauses, which means fighters can't go to other promotions easily, even if they're benched for months or years. Oh, and if the UFC doesn't want you fighting right now, too bad, you wait, if you want out early. Get ready for lawsuits or being benched into career oblivion. You train 8 weeks, spend thousands on camp, cut weight, and then your opponent pulls out last minute, or the event gets cancelled. You go home with zero pay and a damaged body. Fighters only get paid when they step into the cage. No fight, no money. MMA is brutal on the body: torn ACLs, shattered noses, concussions, broken hands, you name it. One bad injury could sideline a fighter for months or years. And unlike NFL or NBA athletes, most UFC fighters don't have guaranteed contracts or health insurance, even if you're injured while training for the UFC. If it didn't happen during the actual fight, you're often on your own to cover medical bills. It's not just the physical damage, the psychological pressure is brutal. Every fight is make or break. One loss can drop your ranking, cost you sponsors, and even get you cut from the UFC roster. Fighters deal with anxiety, depression, eating disorders, from cutting weight and burnout, and yet there's zero mental health infrastructure built into the UFC system. You'd think if you become champion, life gets easy, right? Wrong. Champions still struggle to negotiate fair pay, risk being stripped if they push back, and often face PR wars with the UFC if they don't play the game. Just ask Francis Ngannou, Demetrius Johnson, or Tyron Woodley, all top-tier fighters who clashed with the UFC over fair treatment. So yeah, being a UFC fighter might look glamorous from the outside, but underneath the lights, it's a high-risk, low-reward grind where fighters sacrifice their bodies, minds, and futures for an organization that often treats them as disposable, and yet they still fight. Because for many of them, it's their only shot. But it's time fans start asking questions, and fighters start getting the respect and pay they deserve. If you found this video eye-opening, hit that like button, share it with a fight fan, and comment below. What do you think needs to change in the UFC? Don't forget to subscribe for more real talk about combat sports and the truth behind the headlines. Let me know if you'd like this rewritten for a short script, podcast episode, or broken down into a multi-part series.